almost said hello, like I'm Mrs. Doubtfire. Hello, I'm Mrs. Daytime Today. I'm your host, James Lott Jr. Speaking of impressions from 10th4GH and some of my audio dramas, it's Matthew Theall. Hello, Matthew.
Hey, hi, everybody. It's me, Matthew Theall.
I texted you earlier this week because I can't watch Peter now on General Hospital because I hear your voice doing him.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm like, I started busting. I'm like, oh my God, it's like this. It's Matthew doing him, but it's him doing him, and it's like, oh my God, I'm confused.
Well, I mean, if Wes Ramsey's voice ever goes out and they need somebody to do like a dub situation for him, just give me a call. I'm happy to do it.
He could, folks. It's still not good. Still not good. But
show me exactly where you found out Bailey might be Louise.
Oh my God, that's crazy. That's crazy. I can't do the rest of the show, you guys. Bye, I'm out. Welcome to Daytime Today, your afternoon show of chat about soap time. See, I'm all thrown off about afternoon time and crackers of the soap world in the afternoon. That's what I was trying to say, kids. See, threw me off because you guys know how much I hate Peter in this storyline. He sounds like him right now. He's throwing me off. But that's not what we're talking. Well, that's not what we're talking about today, kind of. But thank you for go ahead and follow us on all social media platforms and all that stuff. You know how to do all that. Okay. So today we're talking about the 10 ways, 5 and 5, each of us have, we think GH could improve. So we both love the show, right? You like the show?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's also an exercise for me to get him to say some things that are not so positive.
Oh, well.
And it's the whole thing. I want to bring out the shady side of Matthew Theall. Because his show, 10-4-GH, they're really nice and they're calm.
Yeah.
Except when I'm on the show. And then they're fine.
There's no reason to get all nuts about it. It's just TV.
See how old-fashioned they are. It's crazy. This is so Twitter. That's how you different. No. But we decided we're going to give some constructive criticism of a show that we love that is actually entering the 58 or 59 seasons. Yeah, I think 58, I think. It started in 65, I think. So that's 58, I think. So I don't know. Before you were born.
I just remember the premiere of General Hospital with Dr. Hardy or something and the burn victim. And I remember him encouraging her to want to get back into society because you're a pretty girl. You want to be a pretty girl again, don't you? Just stick with your recovery. And it was just so problematic.
Yes. Oh yeah. It was a different time, Matthew. It was a different time. Also, coming up soon will be an episode of I Don't Normally Watch That. You guys wanted Flobo Boys to come back and do a soap. I don't know if Matthew saw the email I sent to him, both of those guys. I picked a Maxie Peter sequence for Flobo to watch. And we're going to see what he's going to watch it. And then we're going to talk about it. He wants you on the show, Matthew, of course. We're going to talk about it. He suggested you. We're going to talk about what we feel about it, and he'll probably do his impressions. So there you go.
I want to see Flobo take on some impressions.
We'll see if he does it. So
let's challenge him to that.
Let's challenge him. So that's that's coming up soon here on JLJ Media. It's a series I do on here, and he's on episode 2 of that Star Trek episode. It was doing really well for us. I'm shocked. It was like 2 hours.
All right. Hey, nerds love to listen to other nerds talk about nerdy things.
That's what Flobo said. I was like, great, I'll take it. So these are 10 things. Okay, so I'm going to start with my first one. I think decide where I want to go first. I don't know where I'm going to go first. Stop teasing us. Stop teasing us. Hayden's out there. Jeff Weber is out there. And my problem is there's so many times it seems like it's leading that direction. Actual scenes, they're like, he was calling me, looking for you. Like Terry said that one time, and he was looking for you, Elizabeth, and we get little bits and pieces of her talking about her father. And it's all so literally. I guess it's the Weber family I'm talking about. He's like he's doing this. Not just this one now. Hayden, and they're all from the same family. Stop teasing us. Give us a payoff. So how do you feel about that?
That I think that is a fair observation. Yes. There's a lot of teasing out there, not a lot of resolution, and not also a lot of stick-to-itiveness. when it comes down to it as well.
That's a combination word. Yes, but it totally fits. But it totally fits. Yeah, I know. And so I just told my only thing is like, it's okay to mention people off camera. That's one thing. It's also okay to tease someone, but at some point, shouldn't they come on?
Yes, there has to be an appearance.
Right.
Chekhov's character, right? Don't mention somebody in the first act if they're not going to appear by the third.
There you go. Exactly. So that's one of my criticisms. I think it's just because on other soaps they bring them on. I will say right now, Bold and the Beautiful and Days are just masters at that. Mentioning someone and all of a sudden there they are. You're like, oh, okay. So General Hospital, please do that too.
I mean, I feel like they used to be better at that.
Yeah, they were.
They used to be way better at that. But they mention everybody under the sun.
They even brought on Naomi, Hayden's mom, and killed her. No Hayden, no Jeff Weber. I mean, it's like no Sister Sarah, whatever.
Just waiting to spring them from whatever cell they were locked in still on Cassadine Island. Just like at the end of All My Children, Dr. David Hayward had everybody under the sun buried in his secret lab under Pine Valley. Yes. Just all these characters that we've been teasing are just in this unfound location on Cassadine Island next to the dead body of Jason Morgan.
And Days of Our Lives are the same thing. They had a lab with all the initials on the doors. Like AD, is that Andre Demir? Is that like so? They had a whole thing about that also. They've all come back from the dead. So so it's a plot device. So that works. That's a great example. It can work. So my thing is, you can mention them. We had a whole storyline basically with Sean. We had a whole storyline with Sean. It's all this Hayden thing, and there's no Hayden. That's what's so weird. And on Y&R, they finally did bring the person back, but he had a whole pregnancy where the husband wasn't even there. They didn't cast it. No, there's like, where's Chance? Now he's back, and now it's paying off a little bit. But like it was like a whole year. It felt weird. So I was kind of like, so that's my thing there. So what is your first one?
I want to say that something that would help with what you're talking about with the teases is book it backwards. Is know where you want to be in a couple of months. Know where you want to be when it comes to a climax of a story. No, not even like where do you want a character to be? Like just start dreaming it. I want Elizabeth to be married to Nicholas Cassadine. That's your resolution. Book it backwards. How do we get there? What steps do we need to take in order to make Elizabeth marry Nicholas Cassadine? What needs to happen for that resolution? And then from there, you have a much clearer idea of where you're going, and a much better way of being able to hone in on who you want to focus on as well. You're not going to have to tease all of these Jeff Weber things when it comes to Elizabeth.
I like that.
Because you know where she's going already. Have some landmarks there. Right. I know that sweeps. Sweeps are a thing, aren't a thing. Are they a thing? They're not a thing.
Yeah, not anymore. Yeah.
But you can still use those as like tent poles for your season, for your stories, for a place to aim when it comes to having something really awesome happen that really pushes things into what my number 2 would be, which is I shouldn't say it yet, right?
The point is, you're right. No, I'm not lying. No, it is. I mean, I like that idea. I mean, I know what they feel like sometimes is they're writing a story, and sometimes the story takes over. But I do agree with having kind of at least what I call a soft landing in many things that I write. There's like times I go, I want this to happen, I want this to happen. So, but sometimes as I'm writing, or as I see the actors acting, something else comes out of it. So then you kind of go, but at least if it doesn't really go anywhere, I still have that ending to go, I have that landing to go to. Like I can still get there and go, maybe a flirtation happens, or maybe this happens, or a detour happens. But still, like for fans to root for something, we know that's end game. Like it's always going to be Carly and Sonny. Like we know that's the end game. But you have detours along the way.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Like I said, then eventually we know they have to get there.
Yes.
So you're like, right?
Know where you want to be.
Yeah.
Know where you want to be. And that's fun because when I dream about stories and think about things, I find myself always thinking about the most exciting parts and the consequences and resolutions to the conflict, not exactly the rising action. That's always been very difficult for me, for some crazy reason. But as somebody that likes to think about these big events in characters' lives, I think that I would find it, at least personally for me, to be very helpful when it comes to just organizing my year, knowing what's going to be happening in December when you're filming what's happening in February. I just don't feel like that's happening, but it could be. I don't know anything about what's really going on back there, so it's hard for me to say. It just seems kind of messy.
We're Tauruses, of course. I understand how you think. No, I know for me, I'm writing a series right now called The Man from Pluto. Hopefully it'll be out later this year. And I had 3 parts. I had 2 parts. I had one part where I'm like, I want to go there. And I have the end, so to speak. I have both thought out. So the opening scene of the first episode is that middle one.
Mm-hmm.
And we work backwards to get there. And then by episode 6, I wrote, we actually are there now, and then go forwards. So it's kind of like what you said. It's like, I know I want to get here. Now I'm here. Now I want to get there.
Yeah.
So it did work for me in this instance. It did work. So it's like, okay, now I got to that point. We explained it. Now we're going to the end. Will it actually happen? So my number 2, more work intrigue. I know it's a hospital and they're at the hospital, but we're not seeing enough hospital stuff. I also want to see more ELQ stuff and deception and invader and all that stuff. We have all these little offices and things going on. I want to see more of that. Young and the Restless does that very well. Bold and the Beautiful does that very well. Days is it's like, well, gee, they do it well sometimes, well others. It's just a writing choice. I love to see more of, instead of once every 3 months. Yes, we're deception. Like, I want to actually, back in the 90s, they showed it. They showed them working together. They showed them building it. We love Lucy. We love Sally. Like, I want to see them do more. ELQ, now it's just talked about. We never see it. We had an office for a minute with a secretary. That's all gone. We're talking, everybody has control over it. That's fun too, but it's kind of like, well, let's see Michael actually work, or let's see who actually work in there. I mean, it's a little much for me. The last time we saw a set was when BLQ, was Brooklyn, messed up stuff by accident or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
it. And their multi-purpose set.
Yes, the multi-purpose. Yes.
Yeah.
So I just want to see more work stuff, because a lot of drama can be born out of that. We've had some hospital stuff over the years, so it's not horrible there. But I want more. I want more of that too. I want more of all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like it.
Very good.
I like it. Like what's going on? What's going on inside the home? Huh? What's happening at work? I mean, they do have a little bit of deception thing going on, but this IPO thing seems to have been looming for the last 5 months.
Yes.
And it's just going to lead into what Sasha doing drugs, which is going to lead back into personal romance, relationship problems, which isn't work intrigue. So, yeah. The passing of the hat of ELQ CEO just diminishes the title in such a major way that I don't even understand how this company is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Right. Exactly what was going on at ELQ when Valentine was in Crete. Who was running the show? Isn't he still the CEO currently?
That's my answer. I was Ned stepping in. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. We didn't see it. And literally, all the intrigue is still family based, which I get that the core mains, ELQ are kind of one thing, but we don't know. I have no idea. None. Or just
yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of inconsistencies too when it comes to the bar, like Charlie's. Christina was working there, and now she's not, I guess, because Phyllis is.
Well, another guy
I just don't know.
Another guy was there too. Between there was some bartender that was there the other day too. Like, where'd he come from?
I mean, I would say that Cameron has probably had the most consistent and understandable employment.
Yes, at Kelly's. That's right. And my
girl, for some reason, manager always seems to be owner, right. Like person completely in charge of everything. Mm-hmm. Hi, I'm 18, a freshman in college.
Why not? You're not even a Spencer. You remember Ruby? It was all part of Spencer's. There's all originally it was Ruby's. There's all this stuff. You're not even a Spencer. You're a Spencer adjacent. So I mean, I don't know. Again, it's just like, yes, he's the only one. But the rest of it, we know what's going on. My friend who works as a background actress is she plays Brooke, the woman at the Metro Court. She's always the hostess, so you get to see her every day.
All right,
my friend does that. So she's got some job. That's good. What is your second one?
My second one is we need fewer or more little niche sets. For just diversity of scenes and locations. It's pretty difficult for everybody in town to suddenly start taking yoga classes. Everybody in town is now spending their entire summer at the Metro Court pool. If you're going to do this, switch it up a little more often.
Yes.
Or don't spend so much money on the Metro Court pool that you can't figure out what to do for the rest of the year when it comes to new locations. Build a bunch of little tiny ones that are really good. Like that little corner of that coffee shop Perks, I think it's called, is perfect. You know, like build a bunch of those, just a bunch of different places. In my like opinion. Look at me apologizing for
why are you apologizing?
For criticism, right?
You can't apologize. You are giving your opinion. That's all it is. Folks probably agree with you. I agree with you. Great idea.
Yeah, it's just mix it up. Mix it up for me. Mix it up for us, the audience, right?
Yes. At least you don't go outside anymore in that backyard or whatever. I'm like the fence and the bench. I'm like, okay, that just
Well, that's the fence.
Yes, but that's the hills, or I know where that is. You're in Los Angeles. We don't want that anymore.
Well, to me, it's the jarring difference between obviously being outside versus obviously being in the studio. Yeah. If it was less obvious, it would be better. And I wouldn't mind the chain link fence. That's obviously the back lot of the studio. But since there's such a difference between obviously when they're inside or outside, just don't go outside.
Don't do it. I agree. My number 3 is more actual romance. Where is the love in the afternoon?
There really isn't much actual love.
There isn't. And I feel like you can bounce it out. There's always like that one. Well, I guess, take that lie back. I guess the love part right now would be Cameron and Joss. I guess.
Sure. Scotty and my strudel, or whatever it is he calls Liesl.
Strudel or whatever.
My strudel.
She's hardly on. We also have Curtis and Portia, I guess. I mean, I don't see any. I mean, we got Martin and Lucy, but now they're kind of off. They're doing it off camera.
Yeah. It's like a little sprinkle. Like we're going to introduce it and then never just actually show it.
Right.
Because we didn't promise Lucy these dates. So.
Right. Well, I put Mike and Felicia on a date night, the floating rib or something, whatever it's called now. I have gone on a date night and like actually be loving to each other. Let's show anybody. I'm like, just show TJ and Molly.
Yeah.
I do something like nobody. We're seeing no romance. It's a soap opera. Where's the romance?
Heavy dramatic romance. People cheating on each other because they're drunk.
All that stuff.
Bold
and Beautiful, folks, is killing you on that. Bold and Beautiful has dramatic. They got romance out their ears right now. Trust me. So I was telling you, they're doing it over there. But a lot of soaps aren't doing it that much. So I'm like, come on, folks. I want more romance. What is your third one?
It's actually go for it. Like go for it. Let's go for some stuff here. I feel like we're constantly just floating on the surface of all kinds of different things. We're casually mentioning, oh, my baby has spina bifida. We did the surgery, but she's fine now. Hey Donna, high five.
Good, Donna.
Like what is like let's go somewhere. Let's have some consequences. Let's shake some things up. Let's talk about some real things. That's the things that like what is GH most famous for? You know, Robin and Stone storylines and all of that such because it was just so because they went there. Let's go there. I know Disney owns the network and the studio and all of that kind of stuff, and it is a daytime show and all that kind of nonsense, but it's not like I think we have some room to do a little better when it comes to just going there a little more.
I agree. Totally agree. They do. They should. I mean, it's like they used to use social issues, and right now they haven't in a while. I guess the last kind of social issue would be Alexis alcoholism. I guess
The judge, I guess the judge thing with Molly and TJ.
Yeah,
that was all of 6 weeks of story, and then
right
the end.
The end. It just, yeah. I agree with that completely. Okay, my number 4. Well, actually, I should say this better. My number 4 and number 5, they're kind of related. And I'm looking at them now, going, they're kind of the same. My number 4 was multi-generational. I can't get out. Multi-generational storytelling and umbrella stories. And 5 is go back to setting up the families. They said, get the Quartermains, bring back Sky. The Cassadines, unite them. The Corinthos Corbin kind of clan, get them together. The Ashfords, now we got a strong Black family. Let's get them together. And the Woos, a strong Asian family. Let's add a couple of people in there. I think that would be wonderful to have. Like in the old days, it was, and I was seeing on soaps, like on Days, it was always the Hortons and the Bradys, and on Y&R, it was the Abbotts and the Newmans. They do it very well. And it's like, why are we having that on this show? There are sprinklings of Quartermains over here, and I would say Spencers, but they're all kind of spread out the others. I mean, it's like, but let's get some core families again. That would actually go with the multi-generational storytelling. That would go with the work intrigue. That would go with the romance. Like it would literally lead to all things I just mentioned. It would lead to all of that. Do Webbers. Bring out the Webbers. Bring out the Baldwins. I don't know. I just feel like there's something. Well, actually, that whole they kind of did a little bit with the whole Liesel, Nina, Britt. They're all part of the same family. And Peter's part of course, is part of that also on some level. But they're all in there. But I was like, let's like really define let's define it, and let's like actually build story out of it. I think that would be great to have. It's an old soap thing, the big family.
Yeah.
I think that's and really tell the multi-generational stories. They do it a little bit. Monica talking to Drew, or Monica doing it over here, or Bailey talking. I mean, they do a little bit, but I feel like it needs to be more.
There's just there's a lot of cross-pollination with the families, which has definitely blurred the lines in a major way. And that is due to the lack of bringing in new unassociated characters. Because like Nell wound up being the adoptive sister to Carly and the biological daughter of Nina. Like there's no room for fresh DNA here in Port Charles when everybody who comes into the canvas is related to somebody else. And then that just completely blurs the lines because now like Nina's grandchild is Wiley, and that brings in the Reeves in a way to the Corinthos Spencer Quartermain completely confusing blend now.
Christina said something this week that I was like, finally. She said,
"Oh yeah,
you think are you trying to
he's a cop?"
Yeah, well, it was kind of like that you're my sister and he's my brother. And I was like, that's so. We all have thought it, of course. That's the reason why I don't like them together because I feel it's too incestuous. But it has happened before. We know that. But it would be weird. It would be weird. I mean, like, you're my brother, you're my sister, and you guys are together. Like, and you're with my father. You're my sister, and you're with my father. I had a child with him that died. Like, it's soap world. But and I suspend some disbelief. But it's yeah.
If this doesn't work out, who are you going to go after next, Michael?
Oh God, I hope not. Oh, leave him alone, Sam. Don't even do it.
Oh man,
But,
I think Michael's ready to move away for a little while. I mean, is that okay for me to say?
yeah, and I can say, on this show, it's okay to say yes.
Okay, I don't want to make any enemies here.
No, I know. I make enemies all the time. I don't care. I like Michael. The character Michael needs to be retired for a minute and rethought up.
Yeah, I mean that kind of feeds into what my number 4 is, which is know who your draws and your supports are. And we can add a semicolon and give people a break. I don't think that there's any shame in letting a character rest for 3 months.
No.
Like even give the actors some time off to just kind of breathe, because I understand that the schedule can be really hectic if if they're asking a lot of scenes of you.
Yeah.
It seems like Laura Wright's living at the studio at this point.
I know. Homegrow's every like. I mean, do you need money? Like, what's going on? Why are you on every day? I mean, she's on almost. There was one day she wasn't on. It felt weird a little bit. I'm like, not on. She's everywhere every day. I mean,
I mean, at a certain point, is there a breaking point, or like?
I agree. I'm like, I don't think I agree with you. I'm like, I just think that the Willow character, these all characters I don't like, of course, they need to go take a little breather, and come back maybe fresher. Other soaps do this all the time.
There's no problem with Willow, Michael, and Wiley taking off to the island to rest, relax, recharge, and get away from it for a little while. And they can come back with a suntan and a haircut and fresh story,
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, but the first part of that is know who your draws and your supports are. As wonderful as she's been over the last 2 decades on this show, there's a lot of Carly. I don't think that she's really drawn people in the way that they want her to be drawing people in, or the way that they think she might be drawing people in. So I think a better understanding of who really your audience is coming to see, which is Sabrina, Chase in Brooklyn, I think, Vanna, these other things, even Ned and Olivia, I think, have a much wider interest level to even the general and casual fan than some of these stories and characters that are being pressed as our main event, so to speak, on General Hospital at the moment, which is unfortunate. I think that everybody should have a better chance to shine out there. I think it's awesome every time TJ comes on this show, but damn, he's only ever there to be like, hey, you guys, let's not fight. I'm a doctor.
Yes. I mean, everything I agree with you say. I agree. Yes, I agree with what you say. I do. I know. It's funny. The things that we're mentioning, because you have one more for 5, but things that we're mentioning are not things that are that impossible to do.
No.
Not impossible to have happen. It's no shade really to any actor or actress who wants to work. That's fine.
No.
It's kind of like, and also I want to say this, another caveat. I know it's hard. It is really hard out there in the universe to make everybody happy. You can't.
No.
So these are just
absolutely
these are stories. There won't be a soap writer. I just say it all the time. It's just our suggestions. We're saying of things that could happen. But I know out there, everyone has their couples and their things. And so there's 10, because the show's been on forever. So there's like 10,000 ways you can go. These are like in general one of the things. Yes, exactly.
Nothing cannot be improved with a better organization.
Yes, exactly. That's
and I think that's kind of the core of all of them. I mean, my 5th one is let's have more fun. I don't think there's enough fun on the show. I don't think that these actors are having enough fun. There's not enough fun in the storylines. There's not enough jokes. There's just not enough fun.
I agree.
Sing and dance. I mean, there was no nurses' ball this year. I know that stuff is difficult, but I mean, let's have a little bit of fun, please.
I agree with that. And some of the soaps are doing that. Other soaps, you can tell they're having a great time in the storyline. I mean, yes, Days of Our Lives is completely that soap that does those things. And so there's Mar Devil and Joe Devil, but they look like they're having fun. Look at they're having the time of their lives. Days of Our Lives, and people know this at home if you watch Days, they had a giant bear come to life. Duke the bear, the stuffed animal, came to life. I was laughing and crying so hard at his dialogue. And he tried to, in her dream, he tried to attack the person who cut his head. And on the show, one of the characters cuts the head off the stuffed bear. So he comes in her dream and he has scissors going, I'm gonna cut your hair off. And he's saying lines like, let's see how you look stuffed. I mean, I was laughing so hard. And she's tussling with this man, whoever's in there, playing a giant teddy bear, and they're fighting. I thought that was hilarious. Yes, it's ridiculous on some level. Yes, it's kind of crazy. But it's very interesting.
I think there are some people that are on the cast that are able to make it fun for themselves as much as possible. I think that Jeannie Francis has a great time on set. I get that feeling in my heart, and I think she had a wonderful time playing with Jeff Kober.
Yes.
Holy schnitzel.
He's missed. He's totally
missed. God, I cannot wait for him to come back. Full time, full capacity, Jeff Kober. I remember him from Star Trek Voyager.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Anyway, so I think that she's kind of a standout. And another thing that that I think people missed about Nixon Falls was how much fun it seemed Maurice Bernard was having. Doing this, not being sunny.
Right.
And to me, that was the biggest draw was watching Maurice Bernard not be sunny for a while and look like he have a great time doing it. And that's what I enjoyed from the storyline. One of my potentials top 5 was Let's Keep It Moving. And that's a prime example of Come On Now.
Yes.
But
it's paying off now to me. It's paying off now.
No, it's totally paying off now. I think that the pace of the show is okay. Now, the pace of the episodes, the time that is spent on each little bit of scene, I think that that's fine. The short bursts of story that we get, but in that you have a chance to tell a lot of detail or provide, in my opinion, a lot of assumed detail in between by whatever development might have happened in between the days of being able to see this. But we have a lot of repetition that goes on and on and on and on and on, which is okay to a degree because people aren't going to be able to watch this thing every single day and kind of need to know what the major beats are. But you're still really not giving it a chance to move forward at a better pace. So I guess that's my number 6 there.
I don't like that. It's true, but it's again another place to improve. I think folks can really agree with with that because it's like we all want to see things go in a way. We don't want to go too fast. I've seen some shows where you're like, what happened? What's going? Did I miss something? Did I miss an episode? Oh no, they just decided to go this way. So you're like, oh okay. So we want to be invested in a story. We want to watch a story unfold. We do. We want to see it unfold.
Right.
But we don't want this Marshall thing, which I've talked about 10,000 times online, of how I just don't care anymore at this point about what he's hiding at this point. Because you're asking Curtis to trust you, yet you're not really saying nothing, and you walk around really creepy, and now you're pressuring Epiphany to become a doctor all of a sudden. I mean, it's all, I need something. And your mother said it on the show that I was with you. We need to be, the audience to be let in.
Yeah. That's what she had said.
It's just slowly going along. He's on all the time, but it's just like, and you haven't seen yesterday's episode, yes, I can't tell you what Stella did, but it's just going. It's just slow. Like, oh my goodness.
Yes, they do every time something is talked about or repeated. Enough of the conversation can be recap for the people who haven't seen what's been going on, but in that recap, there does need to be some sort of advancement, even in a small way, some sort of revelation or some new hint at a suggestion, at a thought that maybe this is what could be going on so that people can start thinking about it. Because soap fans, I feel the majority of soap fans are paying attention more of the week than less of the week. Or I'm just a podcaster and that's how I watch the show. I don't know. But I think that people are paying more attention than less attention to the show, and that needs to be rewarded.
No, that's a great topic for a conversation one day. We might have to have that one day. So we watch these shows in a way that may be different than other people because we're actually going to talk about and recap them. Because, if we miss something, people yell at us. Why do you think about this? They're looking to us to recap it. But also we're giving our opinions. So we're not doing a straight up recap, but we're doing opinions. Where a lot of folks are just watching it in their leisure, not taking notes, not doing anything, just kind of watching it, absorbing it for their own selves. Not really to give opinion online, but have time just to themselves or friends. So that is something that's, I happen to agree with you. I think folks are, because there's so many few soaps now, and the audience has gotten way smaller, obviously, that people are really noticing everything. They're noticing Brooklyn's Blazer, and now it's a Twitter handle. They're noticing another show.
Leave the Blazer alone.
I know.
Come on, who cares?
But on another show, the baby was basically because they can't use newborns on soaps, folks. They just can't. You have to be a certain age. It's a labor law. So the first couple of months, it was like a blanket. We all knew we knew it wasn't a real baby in there. It was hilarious.
Yeah. It was suspend your disbelief.
Nope, they couldn't. It's like they have a blanket baby. I'm like, it's made me laugh, but it's like, they can't. Now the baby's on there. The baby's not dark enough. The baby's not. I'm like, what are you doing? We can't win. So that does happen. So people
dark enough?
Because the baby. Okay, let me explain this, folks. On Y&R. The biological parents are.
Oh, you're not talking about General Hospital. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm saying, as I said on another show, I'm saying that it was like he's biracial and she's white, so the kid looks very light skinned. And I said, well, that's normal because he's 1/4 black. He's not half black. He's not, and even if he was, we come in all shades. So it's kind of like actually he looks like he would if he was a 4th black in some ways. So it makes sense. I come from a mixed race family. I know this. So it's like that's kind of But people are. I'm saying, but the whole point is everyone's watching so carefully and every single thing, and so it's like this thing where the soap producers and writers should really take that into consideration that these soap fans aren't dumb.
No,
they're not. They're not.
No. You got to find a way to serve what you're trying to do now in a way that still doesn't diminish what came before, which, ladies and gentlemen on Twitter, I need you all to understand this show has been on for a very long time. Being able to tell stories today while completely honoring every single thing that has ever occurred on this ridiculous television show is a challenge.
Yes. It is.
So, let's I don't know. Let's just try to have more fun with it and just watch it and stop being so mean.
Yes, I know. Yes.
I mean, to the general people, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's very much this is all, and I decided to do this kind of show. I'm gonna do this for the other shows too. I'm gonna do it for Y&R and Bold and Beautiful. I'm not done. But it's literally, I just want to show people that we are watching. We care about the shows. We want them to last. And I don't want them off the air. Because I was like, no, I like my soaps. They're part of America. I don't want them, Americana. I don't want them gone.
Yeah, me either.
Here. So we're just giving our suggestions that, and again, I'm a writer. Somebody got mad at me when they're like, well, you write a show. I go, I write 15 audio dramas. So I do write stuff. Thank you very much. I shut that person up. So I'm a writer, so I do get it also. I do also get it, but you don't have to be a writer either. You can be just a soap watcher who watches the show and you watch television and you kind of know how certain shows work and some don't, and certain things really work and some don't.
They have such a unique opportunity that other series do not have, which is being on 5 days a week. You have so many episodes to tell these stories, to put in the details, to showcase these characters that are going to make people interested, to show a diverse area of Port Charles, to cover just all kinds of fun things that just could occur with better organization and a little more ambition.
Yes. And that's where we'll end it, because we don't be a dead horse, folks. Don't be accused of doing what the soaps do.
I was trying to recap my 5.
Exactly right.
In conclusion.
We're not going to judge the soaps do. We're not going to beat it in the ground. You've heard our 5s. Each of our 5s. Each of our 5s. 5 or whatever. You get it. Thank you. for doing that, Matthew Theall.
Yeah, no
Thank you very much. He does 10th Floor GH, and tell them where they can find that.
I do. You can find 10th Floor GH on Twitter at 10th Floor GH, 10th Floor GH. You can also find us on YouTube. You can just, search it 10th Floor Podcast. I put up links, all kinds of stuff, youtube.com/10th Floor GH. Eventually, subscribe and all of that stuff, and watch our stuff and listen to our stuff. We've got audio podcasts everywhere you can find the podcast. We're on YouTube, like I said, Twitter.
Yes.
That's it. I covered it all. That's where you can find us. I answered the question.
One day you'll get it smoother. You'll get smoother at it.
I'll write it down or something.
I've been doing it for 7 years. You'll get there.
Maybe the bumbling way through it is really accessible to people. They're like, oh, he's so charming and real.
There you go. Hey, so I'll take that back. Yes. We all have our styles. You're right. We have our styles.
Look at him not knowing what to do out there. It's just so adorable. That's my audience,
It could be, right.
The 68-year-old grandma.
That could be it. So I don't want to hinder your audience. So I'm sorry. Yes, you stay you. I had to stop being shady, and you stay you, Matthew. That's right. Well, where you can find me is where all James Lott Jr.'s are sold, at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms. The GH Mini Spotlight and GH30Ds are found on JLJ Media. They're my number one shows on this network, and I appreciate that so much, very, very much. Me and Frank Moran break it down for you. Sometimes Lucretia Lyon, too. We break it down for you on Sundays for the GH Mini Spotlight, and GH30Ds comes out whenever we feel like it. So just go ahead and just keep subscribe to us and follow, and you'll find out what's going on. We're on YouTube at JLJ Media, and the audio versions on every streaming audio platform service you can think of, from iHeartRadio to Spotify to Google to Apple, everywhere. Just look in, just type in GH, it'll pop up. His will pop up too. So like all of us and all of our friends at 66 Harbor View and Port Charles Sisters, all of them, 54 Pier 54, like all of them. There's enough room for all of us. Seriously, there is, actually. We all have different points of view. So I support all the other, and thank you to all the GH Facebook groups that let me post this in there. I posted like 15 groups every week. You guys are so, so wonderful and gracious. Only a few of you guys have said no, but most of you guys have said yes. And it's been great. And I like the engagement. I like the response. Continue to tell us what your 5 things are, your 2 things or 1 thing are. Let us know what you think also. Daytime today is here. It's here for you during the daytime. It's your new daytime talk chat fest here on JLJ Media. We'll see you next time.